most of us have seen over the past couple of weeks, is Quentin Tarantino absolutely eviscerated Marvel in every aspect. And the most recent one being pointing out that people aren't going to Marvel movies for the actors, because we all know there is no movie stars anymore. So that was what he was pointing out, and specifically pointing to, you're not going to Captain America for Chris Evans. You're going there for Captain America. I think the only person that kind of gets around that rule is probably Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man. Other than that, there's no actors I can think of that would get me to go to a Marvel movie. So, of course, Tarantino pointing this out ruffled a couple of feathers, at least one, and that is the star of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The same guy that seemed to think that he was the first Asian action hero ever to exist, because he'd never heard of Jackie Chan or even Bruce Lee. But no, it's because we're talking about Simu Lui, of course, and his head's so far up his arse that he thinks he's important when he's not. He's that important that he's the star of the upcoming Barbie movie. That's where his career is going nowhere. Simu Lee is a nobody. Is a nobody. So he's a little upset because he seems to think he's this big star when he's not. Nobody gives a shit about him. He's just nothing more than a ball bag, really. Just an absolute ball bag whose only use to us is to mock, as he's now come out and dismissed Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese as racist gatekeepers for their criticism of the MCU. The golden age of Hollywood was white as hell. So already you can see that Simu Lui is dumb as shit. He's one of the dumbest guys in Hollywood. He does nothing more than embarrass himself. He really does, because he's not that bright. He really isn't. But let's see what exactly he said, what issue he took with what Quentin Tarantino put out. Someone that actually has talent, whereas the director that worked on did he have any talent? Don't know. But not one to let an opportunity to embarrass himself pass him by. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings star Simu Lui has dismissed the criticisms of the MCU by veritably esteemed Hollywood directors Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese as nothing more than racist gatekeeping, which doesn't quite make any... How are they gatekeeping? How can they possibly gatekeeping considering Marvel movies are still getting made? So, yeah, it does go into Scorsese. We all know what Scorsese has said about the MCU. I never used to agree with him, but throughout Phase 4, I'm definitely on board with Scorsese that Marvel at this very minute is nothing more than a fucking theme park. It is laughable. Absolutely laughable, the amount of money that gets put into this shite. That is what we've seen throughout Phase 4. So it goes into all of that. Then it goes into, of course, what Tarantino has said about you have to be a hired hand to do those things, whereas we all know when it comes to current Marvel movies, the directors and whatever aren't actually in control. They have no creative control whatsoever. It's surprising that they even want to go there. It really is. So this was the part that Simu Lee, the star of the Barbie movie, took issue with, where Tarantino says part of the Marvelization of Hollywood is that you have all these actors who have become famous playing these characters, but they're not movie stars. Chris Evans is not a movie star. Simu Liu is not a movie star. Most actors, the majority, there's maybe Tom Cruise that you could say is a movie star, but other than that, the movie star is dead. And part of that is social media. Because they go on there, make themselves look nothing more than fools, so most people don't want to go and see a movie because they're in it. The movie star is dead, so I don't see the issue with what Tarantino is saying, but Simu Liu up his own arse. Captain America is the star, or Thor is the star. I mean, I'm not the first person to say that. I think that's been said a zillion times. But it's these franchise characters that become a star. Yeah, exactly. As I say, I think the only one that gets away with this rule is Robert Downey Jr. I don't really think anybody's looking to see, you know, if you had to think off the top of your head, who would be the best fit for Iron Man? Yeah, I'd rather see Robert Downey Jr., although not now, because the MCU is a disaster. Predictably, Tarantino's refusal to praise such moments as Yelena's disregard for the seriousness of the Red Room's forced hysterectomies as the pinnacle of modern storytelling only led to more outrage amongst Marvel diehards consumers. Eventually taking note of the favor, Liu seized on the chance to clout chase and took to his personal Twitter on the get off of Twitter, Simu. Does you no favours, it really doesn't. On November 22nd to refute the director's criticisms. Again, I don't know how you of all people can refute these criticisms, because you're a nobody. Nobody knows who you are. You've been in Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings, that couldn't even break even. Couldn't even break even. But we're about to see Simu Lui somehow think his 400 little million that he got at the box office. Somehow, we'll see it. We'll see it when we get to it. But it's just funny that, of all people, Simu Lui, really. I haven't even seen your movie because I don't give a shit about you. Don't give a shit about you. By accusing them of essentially being nostalgic for racism. Because, he's the absolute epitome of a Hollywood retard. What more could I say? So this is what you put out here. If the only gatekeepers to movie stardom, again, they're not gatekeepers because they're not stopping other movies getting made. They're just criticizing it. That's not gatekeeping, Simu Lui. It isn't. Came from Tarantino and Scorsese that actually have talent, whereas you, on the other hand, not so much. I would never have had the opportunity to lead... Again, he seems to think... He just makes me laugh because he seems to think that this is a win. I would never have had the opportunity to lead a 400 million plus movie. That's not good. That is not good. When your movie costs 200 million to produce and 200 million to market, you didn't break even. To break even, you would have to make about 800 million. Didn't happen, Simu, so it isn't the win you think it is. But, quite clearly, some Hollywood idiot doesn't really understand what money is. I am in awe of their filmmaking genius. They are transcendent auteurs, but they don't get to point their nose at me or anyone. But no, yeah, I'm pretty sure they can. I think they've earned that, whereas you, Simu, no, you haven't. The unbearably smug actor then turned to laughably praise Disney, the same company that, yeah, we all know about this, don't we? Where Disney, they shrunk Finn on the poster because, I don't know, China doesn't like black people or something. And then Disney come out and talk about, we're all for inclusion and representation. There's your representation right there. Shrunk it for the Chinese. Why? Why is that, Disney? That's right, because you care about making money more than anything. Although that doesn't seem like that's the case. So, as expected, Simu Lui starts talking about representation and doesn't realise that, yeah, you're not making a good defence or anything like that by saying, improve diversity. Look where the fuck that's got us. Absolute shite everywhere. Because the studios are more obsessed with, oh, well, that person over there, their skin colour is this. Let's just hire them. Doesn't matter if they've got the skill set to do it. No, just get them because they're just over there. That's why we're at the point we're at. So Simu Lui continues on saying, no movie studio is or ever will be perfect. But Marvel is absolute shite though. Very far from perfect. But I'm proud to work with one. Just remember, Simu Lui begged for this job. He begged Kevin Feige on Twitter to give him a job. That's the only reason he got it. But I'm proud to work with one that has made sustained efforts to improve diversity on screen by creating heroes that empower and inspire people of all communities everywhere that already existed before you. Already existed. But again, Hollywood mindset is, I'm the first fucking one to ever do something. You're not. You're a nobody. You're a nobody. All this shit you seem to think is new has already been done. It's been done for years and years and years. You just haven't watched old movies. That's your problem. If you seem to think, you know, films have never been diverse. No, they've always been diverse. And what made it better about it, you know, back many, many years ago when we did get good stuff, is that wasn't the selling point that, oh, we've got a black person in a movie. No, it was just there, and it was good movies all around. So then he goes on to basically, you know, he's a bit of a racist, I guess. But again, you know, it's just funny. They keep trying to champion diversity when it's not doing anything good. It's not making anything good. So I don't know why you keep going to bat for it. All right, that's right. You get a job out of it. You don't have to be the most talented. You can just show up and be a certain color or have a certain thing between your legs, and you just get it. Nobody thinks to look, well, is this person most suited for this job? Do they have the skill set? Do they have the talent? No, we don't look at that. We just hire people based on trivial shite. So he finishes that on, I love the Golden Age too, but it was white as hell. Now, not really. No, it wasn't. You know, I think the only thing I can say to that, it was good though, wasn't it? The stuff that was being put out was good, even though, you know, it wasn't white as hell. As if that means anything. I don't seem to... how is this a defense against the criticism that has been put forth? Saying, oh, well, because of diversity, right? Tarantino was talking about movie stars. So I don't know how you've gotten to this point. Bracing for loser internet trolls. Again, Simu doesn't realise he's the loser. He's the loser. That's all he is. He's in the upcoming Barbie movie. I don't think you can call anybody a loser when that is the next film after your failed Marvel film. The film that nobody talks about that film, do they? Nobody. Because it wasn't shit. It wasn't good. This is far from the first time Lou's virtue signaling has led him to make a fool of himself in public. We could go all over this, but you know, I think we've shadowed over him enough for one video. But yeah, it's just hilarious. Yeah, just these, you know, you love when actors say some dumb shit because you really can just rip into them because they make it so easy. They do make it so easy. But yeah, apparently, you know, it was white as hell. Diversity on screen, that hasn't improved anything though. It's actually went downhill since that has been the focus. It's not quite the win you seem to think it is. And yes, Simu Lui isn't a movie star. No one's going to Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings because Simu Lui's in it. No one's going there for that, are they? No, it's not happening. Never in a million years is Simu Lui gonna be a star because he's in the Barbie movie. I don't know what else I can say, but yeah, I find it funny that his defense from the criticisms just goes into just racist. You know, I don't know what to say to that. The gatekeeper stuff, it's like, nah, Marvel movies are still getting made. Martin Scorsese has just pointed out, you know, I'd say he was wrong from phase 1 to 3. Phase 4, though, it's a theme park. It's a theme park for idiots. That's really all the MCU is at this point. But Simu Lui, he's got Shang-Chi too. He's got Shang-Chi 2 coming out at some point in some time. Hasn't been announced yet, though. Hasn't been announced. Don't know if it will happen, because nobody's going to show up for Simu Lui.